Hi, it's Marissa from BumblebeeApothecary.com, and today I'd like to walk you through how to start the GAPS introduction diet. I have some other videos on my channel about the specific stages of the GAPS diet and what you do in each of those stages, transitioning from that to the full GAPS diet, and all of those kind of details, but I wanted to do a video that's just kind of like an overview of what you need to kind of do to get started and to actually start doing the GAPS introduction diet. It's really helpful to have everything in place, including some of the cooking, all ready to go before you actually start the introduction diet, because oftentimes people feel kind of yucky in those first stages when they're experiencing some die-off and things like that. And that's the last time you want to be figuring out how to make something new for the first time. It's really helpful if you can have a lot of this already made and ready to go. So the first thing that you want to think about is planning ahead a bit. Don't just decide, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start the GAPS introduction diet. That usually doesn't work very well. Give yourself a few weeks to kind of prepare. Some of the things that you want to do to prepare are make some of the foods that you're going to be needing. That would include the fermented vegetables. Sauerkraut is a great example of this because it needs to be on your counter for a week or more to get to that nice fermented stage where the beneficial bacteria are in it. So you definitely want to have that going well ahead of time. I oftentimes like to let mine sit for more than a week. So if you can get that done like 2 or 3 weeks before you plan to start, that's a great thing to do. The other thing that you want to do is to make a nice big batch of meat stock and have that. You can have it in the freezer so that you can pull out smaller portions as you need. You will also want to make sure that you have the different supplements on hand. Some of them you won't start right away, but it's helpful to just have them on hand so that they're ready to go when you need to start. You'll also need to go through your kitchen and make sure that that is ready to go. I have a video, which I'll link below, that explains exactly what you need to make sure that you have on hand in your kitchen before you start, all of the foods and equipment and everything. So be sure and check that out. Go through your kitchen, make sure it's set and ready to go. It's a good idea to kind of plan ahead so that you can kind of free up your schedule a bit and don't plan get-togethers and activities and vacations and all of that right at this point. Try to plan your starting time when you don't have a whole lot going on in your schedule, so you can just kind of take it easy, cook your food, and get your healing started off well. Later on, once you're into the full GAPS diet, it's so much easier to travel and go to different gatherings and be able to eat a lot wider variety of foods, so that'll be perfectly doable then, but try to keep your schedule freed up in the first part. It's a really good idea to go ahead and see if you can locate one or more certified GAPS practitioners or coaches in your area. That can be really helpful. A lot of people implement the diet and go through it and experience the benefits completely on their own, but there are cases when it is helpful to have somebody with a bit more knowledge just to be able to guide you through any challenges that might come up and have good answers to help you navigate through those. I will put a link below to where you can find a list of different practitioners and coaches for different areas depending on where you live. Now let's go over just a few common mistakes that people can often do on the GAPS diet and help you to avoid those. So the first one is introducing too many foods at once. This can be really hard to not do because you might be excited about certain foods and you're like, okay, I'll just try this one and this one at the same time and just see how it goes. But that introduces so much complication, because if you start reacting to one or you're not ready for one, then it's so complicated because you don't know which food it was. So just take it one step at a time and do one food at a time. You'll be glad that you did. It's way easier to figure everything out if you do that. Another common mistake is thinking that you can use a low quality probiotic. The probiotic is going to be the most expensive supplement that you have, but it is really important. So go ahead and get the high quality one. I'm going to have a link below to one that I used that was really helpful. Dr. Campbell-mcbride recommends BioCult, so that's another option, and I'll have a link to that below as well. But make sure that you're using a high quality probiotic. Another common mistake is introducing the probiotic too soon. You want to make sure that you're truly ready and at that point. For some people, this is closer to the beginning of the introduction diet. For some people, it's partway through. Some people, it's not until they're on the full GAPS diet. You really have to make sure that you're doing well with those fermented foods, that you're not having a bunch of die-off symptoms, and then start adding that probiotic properly. I have another video, which I'll link below, that talks about supplements for the GAPS diet, and I go into more detail there about how to add the probiotic and a lot more detail on choosing a high quality, so check out that video that I'll have below. Another common mistake is trying to go through the introduction stages too quickly. You want to make sure that you truly take your time and make sure that you're ready for each new food. Don't rush those steps. You'll have deeper, more effective, and actually overall quicker healing if you do those stages properly in the right time. In my videos where I talk about the different individual stages and how to do them, I talk a lot more about what you need to be looking for and how to know when to move on to each stage, so I'll have some of those linked below that you can check out. Make sure that you really understand all the steps to the diet, that you've read the book so that you know what directions to follow and that you're actually doing it properly. I see a lot of people kind of doing different variations of the GAPS diet sometimes, and they're not experiencing the same results, and it really is best to just follow the protocol like Dr. Campbell-McBride recommends. Then the last common mistake is stopping those introduction stages too soon. That kind of goes hand in hand with going through them too fast, but make sure that you're on the introduction part of the diet long enough. A lot of times it takes people 6 months to go through all the steps. Sometimes you can go through it faster, sometimes it takes longer, but plan in your mind for about 6 months for those steps. And again, check out those different videos I have on all the different intro stages for more information about those and how to do them. So let me know where you're at. Are you thinking about starting the GAPS diet? Do you have any other questions about it? Leave me a comment below. I'll also have a link below to my blog post that has more information, and I have lots of recipes on there for the GAPS diet. And if you're new, I wanted to mention that I have a free printable GAPS diet kitchen checklist. It's a handy printable that you can download and print out, and it goes over everything that I was talking about earlier in the video, that you need to make sure that your kitchen has all these equipment and all the food and everything that you have. It's a lot of it is stuff that people have already, so you don't have to feel overwhelmed by, oh, all this new stuff I have to get. But it is helpful just to have a checklist with it all in one place, so you can go through and make sure, okay, I've got it all and I'm ready to start. So there'll be a link below to that checklist if you'd like to grab it. Okay, I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with anybody else that you think might want to see it. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I make new videos every week on nourishing recipes, natural remedies, and DIY skincare and home products. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.